Almost every day, certainly every week, I talk to beekeepers all around the country, and there's one thing that beekeepers are really struggling with, and I think I can help you guys figure this out. This one thing is actually preventing a lot of beekeepers from being the beekeepers that they really could be, and it's preventing beekeepers from really keeping bees the way that bees need to be kept. A lot of people will spend a lot of time learning about bees. They'll take classes. They may even read a lot of books, watch a lot of YouTube videos like this one. But this one thing I'm going to tell you about really gets in the way of somebody really being a very good beekeeper. And I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to fix it together. This problem, we can solve it. There's one thing that keeps beekeepers from really being the beekeeper that they need to be, want to be, and I see it all the time. I want to cry sometimes because it makes me so sad they don't realize what their problem is. And I just want to go and tell them what it is. I just want to say, this is your problem. This is all you have to do. You got to change one thing and you can be a remarkable beekeeper. A lot of people lose colonies because of this one thing. That's the only reason they're losing them. It's not the queen, it's not the varroa mites. You know, it's not the floral sources aren't in their area. It's not pesticides. It's not all the things they want to point a finger at. There's just one thing that people aren't doing right when they work their bees. And I want to talk to you today about that because I think I can help you. Once I explain it to you, I think you're going to have a good grasp on what I'm talking about. And I'm going to have to take you along with me on this journey of understanding this one thing happens to almost everybody that's a beekeeper. Whether you're new or you're experienced, it can still come up and bite you in the butt. And so let me help you, all right? Listen closely. Listen all the way through my video because I've got the final tip at the end there. But listen, you know what it is? It's fear. It's nervousness. It's being scared. Wait, no, wait a minute. You might be saying, no, wait a minute, that's not me. I'm not scared, nervous. I don't have any fear about working bees. You know what happens? A lot of beekeepers, whether they're new or old, they'll go out and start working a hive, and for the first time, they'll be scared to death. They'll be shaking in their boots. They think those bees are going to kill them. They're going to destroy them. They're worried. And so with fear, what happens is you can get caught up in the fear, the nervousness. You're worrying about the bees so much, and that is you're not going to be as good of a beekeeper. You won't make a good inspection because here's what's going to happen. You're not calm. You know, you're clumsy because fear makes you clumsy. Fear makes you do clumsy things because you're nervous and you're fearful. And so you're clumsy. And then you're distracted because you're scared you're going to be stung. And so you're so distracted, you can't look at a hive, you can't look at a frame and make a good decision. A lot of people say they can't find the queen. You know why they can't find the queen? They're shaken. They're scared to death. When you're scared, you can't hardly make out what you're looking at when you're real scared. So they don't have any focus. They're worried. And listen to this. Here's a big one. They're hurried. I gotta hurry because my bees are getting mad. My bees are getting angry. I gotta hurry. And so they don't do a good inspection. That failure to do a good inspection leads to a failing colony because now you don't know if you got a queen. You don't know if you got enough brood, if you got enough honey. You're too scared to really take a long look at it. You were just nervous about it. Now this is the meanest colony in my apiary right here. They don't like me. I'm surprised they're letting me sit this close to them. They're going out, they're working a little bit on who knows what today. Everything's gone here this time of the year, but they're going out and doing some stuff. Now right now I'm sitting off to the side of them and they don't really know that I'm here. They don't really care yet. Watch me get popped in the face. But nonetheless, if I took that lid off right now, oh my gosh, I'd have to smoke it really good first, take the lid off, wear my complete suit and gloves, and then they will let me work them for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then they light me up. They're not Africanized, same queen I've always had. They're just, their disposition is mean/defensive. That's crazy. It's almost, oh, I saw some bring pollen in. It's almost funny to work them because, you know, I start thinking, oh, I'm gonna get by a little bit of time here, but all at once, boom, they nail me. Now, I'll be honest with you, getting nailed by a hive like this, it's just not fun. I mean, you spend a lot of time trying to keep your hives healthy and it seems like you're helping them and they don't really appreciate it, right? I can never work this hive, no matter what, and not be nailed. I'll be stung no matter what. I'll never work this hive without gloves on, hat and veil. I mean, I got to be ready, smoker going, totally loaded up smoker. I started beekeeping by a friend that said, hey, you want to be a beekeeper? And I was like 30 years old. You know, when you're 30, you can conquer the world, you know? I'm like, sure, I'll try beekeeping. So he said, well, a tree fell down and we can go over there with the chainsaw. We can cut this tree open, this limb open, and we get the bees out of there. I'll put them in a hive for you, and you'll be a beekeeper, right? This was way back in the early 90s. And so, you know, that's before the internet. There wasn't much information that I could just go home and find out what in the world I was doing. Anyway, he was a beekeeper, so I followed him in his truck, and we suited up, and he commenced to start getting ready to cut this tree open and get the bees out of there and put them in a hive for me. The one thing he said, though, that really stuck out was very intriguing, and this is what he said. Now, if you see me running, follow me. Come on. I guarantee you, if you take off running, I'm going to be way ahead of you. Kind of like that bear story, you know, if two guys are running from a bear, you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun the other guy. And I was determined to outrun him if the bees got after us. You know what? They did get after us. We did have to run. You crank up a chainsaw and start sawing through their home. Wow. What else would you expect for the bees to put up a fight, right? And boy, they put up a fight. One of the things that always puzzled me about that hive is, even though bees only live 35 days, those bees hated me forever, for months and months and years. And even though they should be dying off and not remembering who I was, every time I went near that hive, they would stitch my socks to my ankles. It was terrible. They did not like me. And that's how I got started in beekeeping, and I tell you what, I was scared to death. I didn't like working my bees at all. I didn't like to be stung. It hurt, and I didn't enjoy it, and I didn't like going out there. I had a lot of honey coming off of them. I lived in Ohio at the time in some big fields of clover near some Amish community. And I had a lot of honey, don't get me wrong, but boy, those bees were tough to work, and I had a lot of fear. Now, some of you are facing fear. Fear, let me tell you what fear is doing to you and your beekeeping endeavors. It's causing you not to do it right. Let me explain this. If you go out to your colony and you want to do an inspection, you want to find out what's going on, and you're scared to death of these bees, you know, you've got this idea, maybe you're not scared to death, but nobody wants to be in pain when you're stung. It hurts. And so maybe you're going at the inspection thinking, not looking forward to this at all. I don't want to get stung. The bees are all going to be terrible. Now, a lot of new beginners, they start off scared to death. They think the bees are going to roll out of there like some kind of Hollywood movie and just attack them by the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of bees just stinging them everywhere. It's not like that. And so you go out there and you're a little nervous and you're worried. Well, what do you do when you're nervous and you're worried? You lose your concentration. You lose your focus. You lose your enthusiasm, and you lose confidence that you can do a good job inspecting this colony. That's what's kind of going to hurt your beekeeping endeavor, because you're not going to have a complete inspection. You're not going to really be able to study the bees really well to see what they need, see how they're doing. And so you're just going to open them up in fear. Some people, get this, some people open their hive up, they'll take the top off, they'll never lift the frame up. They'll make a hive inspection by just looking down between the frames. Now, you can't do that. I understand it. I'm not going to say that you're a horrible person for doing that. I get it. I did that. You know, all right. I don't want to talk down to anybody. I don't like being talked down to. I don't like it when beekeepers talk down and make you feel like a worm. There's no reason for that. There's a time all of us are scared of bees, and when we take the top off, we're scared to death to pull a frame up. I get it. That's okay. That's natural. If you don't have that kind of fear, that kind of reservation and hesitancy, well, you need to have that to be safe in life. But there's a point where you have to be trained and understand that if I wear the proper gear, proper protection, a bee suit and gloves, a hat, and I use my smoker correctly, then I can open up that hive up without fear, and I can enjoy this inspection, And I begin to pull a frame up and I look at my bees and see what's going on. And as time goes on and you see that you weren't killed and murdered or tortured by your bees, you'll build up a little more confidence. Now, isn't that the way life is? You know what? I've never been the kind of guy that lives on fear. Don't get me wrong. There's been plenty of times I've been scared to death. Even now, I'll get scared of some bees. Like this hive right here, I'm not really scared, but I have a lot of respect for this colony when I work them. And I know what they're going to do when I pop that lid off. And so I'm ready. The thing about this hive is they have me figured out. They figured out, you know what? Look at David. He's got a bee suit on, but he doesn't have anything protecting his legs other than those pair of jeans. And look at those pair of jeans. They don't go all the way down to the top of his shoes. And they figured out they can start nailing my socks and nailing my legs. And it's effective. After a while, when you're working bees and your legs and ankles start hurting, you back off. So, you know, I go into it with healthy respect. But I'm not going to let anything in this life make me live every day shaking in my boots. I still get into this hive. I may get in it now just to show you what it's like. Take the top off so you can see for yourself what it's like. But I'm going to cowboy up. I think there's plenty of examples in life where a lot of us, a lot of times, are too scared to do what we need to do. We're too scared to do what we'd like to do. Sometimes we'd like to take a trip, or we'd like to do something that's different and unique. We want to do it, but we're afraid to do it because we're afraid something bad's going to happen. Now, I think that's wrong. I think that's where we need to say, wait a minute. I need not to let my fear decide what I'm going to do and what my life is going to be like. Again, we need to be safe. When we work bees, we need to be really safe. We need to wear protective gear. We need to not play with anaphylactic shock at all. And we don't need to be goofy and go out there with short pants. A lot of you tell me you work bees in short pants. Hats off to you. I'm not going to do that. I have never, ever worked bees in short pants. I'm not going to do that. There's not a lot of distance between the openings of those short pants and you know what the rest of the story is. So that's not going to happen on my watch. No, I'm not going to leave that an opportunity. But, you know, when you're going through life, and if you feel like you're going to have to go through life scared of everything and kind of reserved and cautious and not enjoying anything, you're going to miss out on a lot of life. I don't want you to go out there and be foolish. I was thinking about the different levels of fear. And they say we're only born with a few fears, and I wish I knew what they were. I don't remember that a baby only has a certain number of fears, and it's not many. I think I remember loud noises is one, and falling is one. Can't remember, there's maybe one or two more. Leave a comment below if you know what babies are born with what number of fears. But most of the fears that we have as adults, you're not born with. Somebody else told you to be scared of those. Like a spider, a baby's not scared of a spider or a snake. They don't know. A baby's not even scared of a bear. I mean, you know, we have a lot of animals that babies love, stuffed animals, that are in reality, they're very dangerous. A lot of babies have bears as a stuffed animal. I mean, Winnie the Pooh is a bear. Going after honey. But, you know, as we grow older, somebody tells us what to be scared of. And so we develop these fears. And sometimes that's what really sets us back. There's a lot about fear that drives us to do things. You know, if we're born with the fear of falling, we like to push that to an edge. Now, not everybody, but a lot of people like to push falling to the edge, like bungee jumping. That's falling. You're falling at the normal rate speed that you would fall if you jumped off a bridge. The only difference is, in this case, you're connected to a bungee cord. And so right before you hit the water below, you're stopped and you're okay. And people parachute out of airplanes. My brother did that forever. I got friends that do that. And that idea of falling is fearful, but they overcame their fear and they're pushing fear right out of the way. And they say, look, I'm not going to be scared of falling. In fact, I'll fall and I'm going to be okay. I found a way to deal with the fear of falling. I'm jumping off a bridge with a bungee cord. I'm jumping out of an airplane. My dad always said, there's no good reason to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. There's a lot of truth to that. That's my philosophy too. And so a lot of times these things that scare us is what actually motivates us to do something to get that adrenaline going and have a little fun with it. And a lot of people keep bees that way. Believe it or not, a lot of you had some fear of bees, but you thought, you know what? I'm not going to let bees scare me. Most people are scared of bees. Instead, I'm gonna start being a beekeeper. I'm gonna figure out a way to keep bees, be happy about it, and enjoy it. Do you know what the greatest thing is to keep you from being scared of bees? Is actually knowledge, isn't it? It's actually knowledge. I think the more you know about honeybees, the more you read them, the more you understand what bees are all about, you don't have to fear them killing you every time you open a hive. Or you see one on a flower. You don't have to be scared to death. I mean, look, I have a great knowledge of bees, and I'm sitting smack dab right next to the meanest hive in my apiary right now. Knowledge tells me they don't care. I know enough about bees. Watch me get stung on the face. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? That'd be a great YouTube. It's like, this guy's talking about not being stung. Wham! You know. But no, I mean, they could do that. I have a healthy respect for them. But what I know about them, my knowledge tells me they don't give a hoot that I'm sitting here. They're doing their stuff. Now, there could be one stray bee in a bad mood. There could be one bee that says, that guy's talking, I can pick up some sensory on my vibration glands that he's sitting right next to our hive. But instinctively, they know that no harm's being done. I don't know what he's doing. He's not doing anything to hurt us, so we'll leave him alone. And so that knowledge allows me to come make a video right next to a hive. How many people in the world, though, are so scared of bees, they would never get this close? And they probably shouldn't, because they don't have the knowledge to know when you can and when you can't get close to bees. But with your proper knowledge, a lot of you are taking my classes, thank you so much. And the more you learn about bees, the more you have more confidence, and you're not just scared to death of bees. You have confidence to work bees properly. When you have the confidence, the knowledge and the confidence to go out there and do an inspection, you're going to take the time needed to do the inspection. You're going to do it right. Now, you've heard some people say that bees can sense that you're afraid. I need to do the research. I've heard that a lot too. And to be honest with you, I don't know if the science supports that. I think it's true that we give off a certain pheromone. We have fear hormones. I've heard that police dogs can actually chase a suspect and lose the suspect in a crowd, but the dog is able to sniff out the suspect because the suspect has this fear, the smell of fear all over him, and they can pick out who it is. So with bees, I don't know if they're mad or get angry or want to sting us because we're afraid. I don't know if that's true, but you've always heard that. I've always heard people say if you're working bees scared or afraid of them, they know that, and they're more apt to sting you. Now, here's what I think the reality of it is. If you're working bees in fear, you're going to be more clumsy. You're going to work in fear. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to drop a frame. You're going to do the things that excites bees to sting you. That's why you need to calm down and work bees calm. That's why you need to go through life and be calm. That's why there's no reason to live your life in fear of things around you, because if you're scared, you're going to have a car wreck. If you're scared, you're going to slip on the ice. If you're scared, you're going to, something bad's going to happen to you. You might just, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You might accidentally cause it because you're just living a life in fear. You're not living a life in confidence. You know, you might be driving on snow, scared you're going to slip and slide and wreck. Well, why not drive confidently, knowing that you're a good driver on snow? You don't have to worry so much about it. Be cautious, be apprehensive, respect the ice. But don't live in fear. Don't go out there shaking to death. Then you're going to make a mistake and fail. Now, for a little while when I was younger, I took pilot's lessons. I was going to be a private pilot. And I took a little bit of lessons. And one of the things that my instructor taught me is when you're flying, you need to fly really calm. I had both hands on the yoke. I was like in a little Cessna 152, I think, or 150. And he said, no, just try to put one hand on the yoke. I was just kind of like flying like this. And he said, calm down, just put one hand on one side of that yoke and just hold her steady, hold her smooth. That's how life needs to be. We can go through life gripping the yoke, and just scared to death about life. Afraid we're going to crash in life. Now we can put one hand on it and relax and enjoy the view and drive a little more confidently, fly a little more confidently through life. Now let me give you the tip on how to overcome fear. If it's really a problem for you and you're not allergic to bees, you can get stung and do okay. It just hurts and swells up a little bit, but you're not an anaphylactic shock kind of person. You're okay. You're just scared to death of them. Here's what you need to do. Here's what I did. You need to get a 5-frame nucleus, a box it's 9 inches wide, got a top, it's a cute little hive, and you need to put 5 frames of bees in there with the queen and set them out away from your other hives if you got more. And just start learning bees on 5 frames. You know why that's so nice? It's because they're smaller, there's not as many bees. You'll learn to handle bees in a smaller box without fearing opening up a big old hive with 30 frames in it. So I want you to start getting confidence built up in starting small and simple. And that's the way life is. Life is the same way. Nobody goes out and learns how to drive out in the middle of Chicago on the interstate, 5 lanes of traffic going 84 miles an hour, their first time out. No, you start on a country road with your dad, letting you drive to the mailbox. That's the way life is. You have to start small. You have to start because you know you're scared, and being scared is okay. It's all right to be scared. You know, just because we have courage to do something doesn't mean we're not scared to death. What is that saying? Courage is not the absence of fear. It's just the ability to cowboy up and get her done, I guess. But, you know, you need to start small in beekeeping. I really do think. I've had people come out to my apiary, school classes and all, and I purposely set up a 5-frame nucleus. I'd never let them look in a big hive. Oh no, don't do that. That'd scare them to death. Set up a little 5-frame nucleus somewhere, or even a 1-frame observation hive. Set that up. Just 1 frame they can look at through glass. Start small, get familiar, get comfortable with something before you go all in on it. And gradually increase what you're doing, like maybe go into a single deep hive first and then make a double deep out of it. Do it, just take time. Don't rush in and do something big all at once. It's gonna make you more scared. You'll be scared to death. Gotta start. That's why we start kids out on bicycles with training wheels. You can't put a little kid on a 10-speed with 12 gears on the front and make them ride that big old bike downtown or something. No, you start them off in a parking lot, in a church parking lot on training wheels where it's safe and they get to kind of play around with balance and steering a little bit. Yeah, they're eventually going to take the training wheels off, don't get me wrong. But they're not going to take the training wheels off in a busy sidewalk with people walking on it. They're going to do it on the church parking lot and maybe crash a couple times. That's the way beekeeping is. Listen, some of you really need to get a hold of what I'm saying here, not just in beekeeping, but in life. You're going through life scared to death of stuff. You're trying to get through life without ever having a skinned up elbow or somebody get mad at you. You're trying to go through life without ever having a problem, without ever having a health scare, without ever having a car wreck, without ever having, you know, problems. Not going to happen. You're trying to go through beekeeping career without ever being stung. Not going to happen. All right, you weren't stung last year. Good for you. You're going to be stung if you keep at this long enough. Got to be ready for it. You get stung, what do? It hurts. You cry. You're not comfortable. And then you get over it. You get back on the horse and you ride out. That's what you got to do. You got to kind of toughen up a little bit in life, because I don't want you to go through life missing out on all the great things that life has to offer because you're scared to death something bad may happen to you. Be safe. Don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. Don't do dumb stuff. You know, don't invite trouble, but don't go through life scared to death of things that you're just thinking might happen. I'm going to ask you guys a favor now. Now, tonight I want to go to bed about 11 o'clock my time, because I don't like to stay up late. If I stay up too late, I get tired the next day. I don't feel as good. You get older, you need your sleep. Now, I'm getting close to 100,000 subscribers. As you can see here, I only need about 20 to make it. Now, if you drag this out till 3 in the morning, I'm going to stay up all night so I can watch that thing dial over to 100,000. Do me a favor, let me go to bed at 11. I just need about 20 of you to subscribe so we can call this over. So we can just celebrate, you know. I've got a celebration video already kind of in the making here, but I need you to subscribe so that we can finally reach 100,000. I love you guys. You guys are great. I hope you can work bees and get rid of any fears that you have. Again, play it safe, be safe. If you've got anaphylactic shock, you're allergic to bees, where you can't breathe or you might die, you shouldn't keep bees. And if you're going to anyway, you've got to duct tape everything and just be as safe as you can be. But don't go through life scared to death. Be wise, enjoy life. And if you're going to keep bees, I want you to enjoy keeping bees. I want you to love bees. I want you to have fun as a beekeeper. Now check this video right here out. It's how to start beekeeping. It's a great video for those of you who are just starting out and you're scared to death about bees. Watch this video. I'll help you get started. Thanks for watching, guys.